Episode number 429.
If we focus on 2/3 on corporate culture and 1/3 on financial success, that's where alchemy happens.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is fired up and ready to bring you a little fuego in your days, nights, weekends, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, I think you're going to want to awaken the fire in your organization, folks, because at the end of the day, bringing passion and bringing, that life and fire, like some people say with my podcast, it gives you a little bit of separation. But many times we're going to need a coach. We're going to need someone to help us through this. And I have someone to talk to you today, folks. Miss Catherine Bell. Catherine, are you ready to be real today?
I am ready to be real today and talk about corporate cultures because it is the secret sauce to awakening organizations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that does transfer over to obviously the customer, and we can talk about that. We can talk about many things into the business. But first, were you always into business? Were you always into fascinated by business when you were a kid?
Okay, you're going to laugh at this. 1980s, picture me looking through Elle magazines,
right? And
I saw a picture of a woman and I said, oh, she's the CEO of this organization. She wasn't. She was a model for the organization. But I'm going to be that CEO and I'm going to sit in that corner office. Wow. So I kind of had a knowingness from when I was younger. My path has not been linear, though.
Right.
Not at all.
And that's the part of the journey, and that's the part of the fun of life, I think, in many ways. You're talking about being a mom and having kids and having them go off to college, and I'm sure that takes a sacrifice. I know right now in my businesses, I don't have the same amount of time. I leaned into being a dad that gets to spend time with his kids instead of going to just run to my business, and then I do have to work a lot harder, I think, but I also get a lot more memories that I know I didn't have with my dad. So that's why I do it. It might be a little bit crazy in some days too. I think I am a little bit crazy, to be honest with you, but that's going to take my journey. I know my business hasn't been the greatest in some ways because I haven't had as much time to spend on it, to talk to customers and do many things, but I have all these other priceless things that I don't give a crap about the business about at the end of my days. So I think, everyone's journey is beautiful in that way. First, then take me into this. How did you come up with this idea of awakening and an organization? As far as the name goes, I love it. The Awakening. Let's go. The Awakening Company.
Okay, picture this. You are going to sit with me right now.
Yeah.
In a dimly lit cafe in New York City. Mm-hmm. I was in a dimly lit cafe in New York City. And all of a sudden, it was like a lightning bolt hit me at the top of my head. At the time, I had started an executive search firm called Blue Era, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. But this lightning bolt came into my head in this dimly lit cafe, and it said, you are to write a book called The Awakening Company. You are to do something called The Awakening Company. Wow. So I'm like, okay, I'll turn to you. And I said, oh my goodness, this idea just came to me. And my colleague Carolyn said, you've got to write the book. You've got to create. So I started creating, and we used Blue Era as a petri dish for doing things like unlimited vacation, bring your dog to work day, mindfulness in our organizations, and was playing with corporate culture right from the beginning. And that company actually became a Profit 10, Profit 200. I did it completely differently, though, with focus on my kids, my family. And I also the organization really focused on how do we bring meaning and autonomy and belonging in our organizations, and how do we bake in healthy corporate culture? So the journey of the book is a long one. I won't go into it, but how
long did it take you to write the book first?
7 years.
Wow. Okay, let's go. So this is a lot of information, a lot of detailed information, if you want to call it procured thoughts. And it's a procrastination too. I'm sure we didn't have ChatGPT 7 years ago. So right now we can just have, hey, ChatGPT, write me a 5-page paralogue about this little paragraph. It will write that for you, folks. It might not be exactly your words. It might not be exactly your tone, but it can write. I can definitely write for us. But so take me that you're working to create the book. What at some point do you feel like is the final step to it? How did that all come together to actually publish it? Did you have a deadline, or were you self-publishing it yourself?
No. So are you familiar with Eckhart Tolle?
Yes.
The Power of Now?
Yes.
Well, I said in my mind's eye, I really wanted that publisher, Namaste Publishing, because it represented the consciousness of the time. And at first she said, no. And I kept on knocking on the door. I'm like, no, it's meant to be published by Namaste Publishing.
Wow.
And finally she said yes. And so Namaste Publishing published The Awaken Company. And it was just re-released after 7 years. And most business books don't survive past 6 years. It's won a ton of awards. And I'd say it's even more current for now than it was 7 years ago, Travis. So it really is an invitation to how do we create healthy corporate cultures? Because here's what the business research says. I'm really into research and scientific process. I teach at a university. So for me, having that business research is hugely important. If we focus on 2/3 on corporate culture and 1/3 on financial success, that's where alchemy happens. And yet often I just got off the phone with a client who said to me, I didn't realize how much you changed our organization because we were very operationally efficient, but we had no emphasis on corporate culture.
Got you.
And it's in the actually belonging. Like, for example, your room right now screams to me of belonging, pictures with your name on it. Yes. Like, how do we create cultures in our organizations of belonging and meaning and depth where relationships are healthy, where the team can thrive? That's really, for me, how to create a healthy corporate culture. Yeah. And I think so often CEOs don't focus on it. Like some will say to me, Kath, can you get me from 0 to $1 billion in 5 years like you did that other company? I'm like, no, I'm not interested. Right. Your mantra cannot be solely on the bottom line. It has to be on meaning and those priceless moments, giving value to those priceless moments. So I'm a mom and I've never worked traditionally since I've had kids.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because my priority,
you push back on that. That's been your priority.
Yeah, like it's been absolutely my priority.
And that helps you define your time, and then also people respect it more, and then also they go, okay, cool, well, when can we talk to you? Or they'll work within what you can do because you make that part of your outreach, and you don't hide that you want to spend time with your kids. Hey, I'm busy right now. I'll catch you at 3:00. You want to catch me at 3? Cool. I have less time to talk to you guys, but I will see you at 3:00 when my kids are taking that, or whenever is available for your schedule. Versus, I think a lot of entrepreneurs too, they sacrifice that time with their kids just to take the phone call, just to pick up the next phone to talk about nothing. You know what I mean? Well, you can leave it on voicemail, and then you can just pick it up in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll be blunt. Like, so you have a 2 and a 4-year-old. I'd put my kids to bed and I'd work. Yeah. So I do think that there's a power in working hard. So it's both. It's both. And so often we kind of segment, but many people don't have their own personal visions. So Travis, do you have your own vision for your life?
I feel like I have a personal vision, but I think that we don't think about that often. I have written out my visions. I do have some documentation where I have some stuff that I've thought about, and I probably don't do it enough, visualizing them, But I mean, the biggest thing I want to do is I want to be a good human. I want to be a great dad. I want to be someone that was known that the world loved. He loved them as much as they loved him as well. And someone that's been somewhat respected, that I respect you and you respect me. I can get along with a lot of people. I've made music with people that are straight thugs. And I've also hung out with the most corporate people in the world that hate Donald Trump. And I've had to sit there and say, okay, I don't like the guy either, but let's just focus on something else, And the bigger thing in general is, at the end of the day, is respect is, I think, the biggest thing I would like to leave this world with, as well as also a little love and energy and positive vibes. And you got a little bit of extra. I didn't have to record a podcast 10 years ago and start doing it every single week and put it out there and hopefully someone gets some value from it. Not only me, but also the guests. And I've also built a cool mastermind, if you want to call it, with interviewing people I would never have access to if I was just sitting here in Fresno. But I think it's something that we all could work at, How do you go about that?
So first of all, I invite every single listener to have a personal aim. And it should be a sentence that's very clear and direct. And you need to repeat it to yourself. So as you go through a doorway, or if you're taking your dog for a walk, or if you're beginning a meeting, if we don't have an intention, we will be led.
Right.
Either we lead or we're going to be led. So we need intention, awareness, and action. Those 3 pillars: intention, awareness, action. So we need to bring so how do you create a personal vision? It's your why statement. It's like, why are you on this planet? Yeah. And in that definition of why, there's a series of, it's why you belong here.
Yeah.
And everybody on your team should have personal intention statements.
Right.
And often we don't. So, and then a lot of CEOs don't even have visions, corporate visions. So if we don't begin with our inner selves, how can we expect the outer act to actually happen? So Travis, let's go back to okay, let's first come within. What's our inner vision? Then what's our team's vision? And then how do we activate it? Intentions, awareness, action.
Intentions, awareness, action.
Yeah.
And I think right now, the biggest thing that I know, just as a post-COVID, pre-COVID, everything was a little different in my conversations with customers. All about getting the new customer, all about trying to get the next promotion going, all about trying to get this thing going, all about trying to get that thing going. Now, a lot of the talks are, we need to get people to work here. We need to get people to stay here. We need to get people to come to their job. That is becoming now more of this resonant thing. We need to get more employment ads out. I never thought I'd be doing employment ads and all these different things 2 years ago. Never even really talked about them. Very, very little, 2%, 1%. Now, 20% of the conversation. My thing is, it goes back to, they don't have the culture. They don't got the culture that people want to work with. And it's just a commodity, and it's just a this and that, and I can go somewhere else. So that gets me into the conversation about when you said unlimited vacations.
Yeah.
It sounds like a dream to most people as an employer. It's a placebo, right? In a way, because we don't take unlimited vacations. We can't all afford to take unlimited vacations, can we?
No. What was interesting when we did that with unlimited vacation is people didn't take enough vacation.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. Gotcha.
It was kind of mind blowing. We thought that they would take initially
way more, like 5 months or something. Right.
No, they didn't take enough. So we ended up having to tell people to take vacation, because there was something in that, the implicitness of actually trusting people for how they work, and when they work, it does something else, and it gives them autonomy. So I think when we can give people who we work with autonomy, and control and respect over their time, it's a huge lever for creating healthy cultures. So give people autonomy. Yeah. And by creating these visions, we're creating meaning. So how are we creating internal meaning, external meaning? When's the last time we said to our colleagues, hey, what's your personal vision? And to have a real conversation about that.
Right. Instead of, hey, I got this task for you to do. That's always the conversation. Hey, how you doing, Travis? Hey, I need you to help me with this report. Hey, it was they come over, they're coming to say hi, but the next question they're going to ask, whether your boss, your colleague, your friend, it's not about how your kids wiping your kids' buns this morning were. It wasn't about how your stocks are doing. It wasn't about what you got to go. It's, hey, man, I need you to help me with something. I need to, and even customer, hey, how you doing? I got this thing. You got to help me. So true. I think that less of it's more about the transaction many times in business of, I got to get this thing done, instead of a real conversation. And then also the conversation loop goes, hey, well, what's yours? What's your vision? You know what I mean? So that leads us to a conversation where you asking me about mine. Well, what's yours? You know what I mean? So that helps the whole flow of it, as well as I think from the top down, because let's be real, a lot of it's just are scared as employees of the boss getting mad and firing us, or something mad happening and then you get fired or reprimanded or looked at negatively. And I even know I had this happen because my HOA, I left them a negative review on Google, and now all of a sudden I'm getting maintenance reviews, and I'm getting all these weird letters, and and the point is, the person that's involved in this HOA probably saw my Google review and is doing their due diligence to repay me back the way that they can repay me back, with little fees and fines and reporting me for things which I never got before. And I left them a negative review because they were sending me all these stuff about, I already fixed all this stuff. What are you guys talking about? I already fixed this. I already asked you kindly to help me fix this stuff. And you guys aren't even fixing the stuff that you need to fix. I fixed my stuff, but you won't fix your stuff. And you want to send me bills. Hey, have a great day. I don't know what to do, but tell you each time you send me these bills, I'm not going to pay this stuff. I don't know what to say, because they're not asking me about my personal value statement. Hey, do you value being an HOA customer here? No, I'm about to go do everything in my power to report them to HOA organizations and get them in trouble because they fired me up and they're not asking me about how I love living here. I would have no problem to fix my bark in the front yard, but don't send me $100 extra bill and say I didn't do it because I already did it. You see what I'm saying? And so this is a business relationship right here. They're my HOA. I pay them money to manage the HOA and pay the fees and do. I'm the customer though, right?
Yes, very much.
I'm the customer. I'm the damn customer. You're sending me. I've never on earth heard of a business just sending you negative bills and never saying what it's for. And how do they not get in trouble? I have no idea.
And Travis, what you're pointing to is the importance of cultivating healthy relationships.
Right.
Because if we don't have a healthy relationship, either internal with our organization or externally,
right,
it's awful. It's like there's a terrible tax on the organization. And the majority of people are disengaged. And what we need to realize is we don't get those moments back. We're losing moments.
Yeah.
And how do we want to direct our attention and our awareness?
Right.
You know, and there's so many people who are disengaged. The majority of people are disengaged at work. So we're losing moments. They rate the worst time of their day as their time with their bosses.
Wow.
Like, so I call it the boss hole syndrome.
Right. Like the meetings, like sitting in the manager meeting with the boss, and you're like, oh my God, what are they gonna say now that I haven't done right?
Well, and the reality too is we also need to view everybody as a leader. And so I think there's a kind of a change that's needed in our perception. Yes, we need leaders, and everybody is also a leader. And unless we can lead our intention, awareness, and action, which the majority of people don't, they're just kind of going with the winds because they don't have an intention for how they're going to live their life.
Right.
Whereas I think that an invitation for everybody is to cultivate this in intention and, you know, healthy relationships to ourselves and to others are absolutely a key lever for every organization. Right. And it's so often diminished and people think we're wasting time. No, we're creating time.
We're creating time, folks. We're making that time happen. So when you wrote the book, obviously it had to attract people to you and opportunities to you as well to talk about this and to help them as well. I'm guessing that's how the business kind of fully evolved from just a book, and then it's all kind of evolved into a whole big company. Talk to me about that. How did that transition happen?
So I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like I cannot help but to create.
We're always trying to create businesses,
I'm like an instrument here to just create stuff. So I was feeling like it was the time to kind of grandmother out of my other business, the executive search business, because I felt all my energy being pulled to Awaken Company. So that business was successfully sold and continues to be successful.
That's awesome.
Without me, which is absolutely huge, right? And it's still huge. Friends with all my partners. So now we focus on corporate culture consulting. During COVID, we grew because all of a sudden it popped open our entire business model, taught the model in over 23 different countries.
Wow.
And so now we have webinars on things such as the Enneagram, things such as leadership, things such as how to awaken the fire within, things such on compassion and empathy. And I've also got an app that I've developed. It hasn't officially been launched, but I have an app. So
you're working on you're using it. You're using the if you want to call it fundamentals of all your business and all the things you've done to help basically at scale help people to do this at scale too.
That's right. So go to awakenly.app and it's like personal kind of invitations every day to consider. It's not a meditation app. It's a self-development app. Gotcha. So it's super cool. It's working now. So people can check it out. We haven't, officially launched. That's coming. And
That's
at the
exciting.
same time, like being very involved in the community. So I started something called the Awaken Project to help other entrepreneurs start their own business from marginalized communities.
Wow.
I also am involved with the Science Center, which is obviously science. And the third is the Impact Society, which helps kids. So
Wow.
I would also invite everybody to somehow think about how you're serving the world through your business, through your organization, through who you are every day. When you're walking down the streets, even just giving someone a smile, that smile could change that person's life.
Oh, yeah.
So
And
the invitation. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the bigger thing is there's a big disconnect too between all the good that businesses do and them being kind of evil empire, grow and take your heads off and profit only, and I think that's where your kind of whole positioning statement and whole business thrives, is that you guys can change that model. Letting people see what all the good that these companies do, and from every part of aspect of their business, whether it's internal, external, marketing, etc., that we changed the if you want to call it the that whole statement. It's just kind of crazy when people say, hey, these companies are some of the worst companies. Well, they also have a lot of good they do, but they just must not have a good job of telling you, the consumer, about this stuff. Otherwise, you probably think a little bit better about them. Because let's just be real. I mean, it's just a continual problem. Whatever conversation you have, everyone's got different points of view about Amazon and about Tesla and about, some of these huge corporations. And it's just interesting because I think that they all need to do a little awakening in their business because they have the money. And because there must be a disconnect. They have to be doing different. And if they're not, they need to bring in my girl to change up things in their business, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Elon, to awaken, from the employee level up, would help. Just the conversations these people have every day in alone would change the company.
Very much so. I believe business is a force for good. And I also think when we bring humanity back into our organizations and begin to respect each other, love each other, and are wise with each other, that magic can happen. And we can create, that's the only way the challenges that we're facing right now will be solved, through organizing differently. And for your kids, for my kids, for everybody's kids, we need to do better. So that's the invitation. We need to do better, and we need to bring humanity, meaning, belonging, autonomy, all of the words I've used, back into our organizations and create healthy, thriving cultures, because people are lonely, people are disengaged. And the way to do that is to find meaning, belonging, autonomy, all these words that I've been using to create healthy corporate cultures. And so often the focus is just on the bottom line. We need to change that.
Or like I told you, like the bigger concerns, we got to get people to show up and get employees and this and that. Well, you did something wrong 5 years ago or 10 years ago that, now we're dealing with it and we're taking down the chin now, but let's figure out a way to go forward. I don't necessarily always have all the answers, but it's fascinating to hear from someone that does this on a daily basis, some of these ideas that I can even just resonate with them about, obviously sharing your book and sharing your knowledge too. But now we're about to take you into our top 10, my friend. Are you ready?
Ready.
She's ready. Let's go. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Apple. Netflix or YouTube?
Both.
Both. It depends on what you're wanting to watch. I think YouTube is like educational interviews and stuff, and Netflix is like, let's turn off everything and watch some crazy show that we can't stop watching for an hour or 5 hours or 10 hours. Instagram or Facebook?
Both.
Let's go. Chicken or steak for a good meal?
Ooh, both.
You deserve it. We deserve it all. A laptop or a smartphone?
Both.
Let's go. Both for everything. Spotify or Pandora? I've had both for everything, actually, by the way.
Both.
Let's go. Movies or video games?
Movies.
There we go. That's a defining one. Reading books or listening to books?
Reading books.
Get the physical.
Kinesthetic. What was that?
Get the physical book. Is your book on Audible by chance or no?
Not yet. It's
Not
coming.
yet. I was about to say, we got to get you on Audible too, because I love physical books. I do love being able to do things with my kids outside, have an earbud in and be taking in content. It is some way I kind of continually learn, and if you want to call it, keep a sane mind in many ways, whether it's a meditation or whether it's a good book or listening to a story or an interview as well. And then also I can do that stuff also while I'm driving and then at the gym too. So I do like that. And then obviously, if you have focused in time, nothing like a good book, nothing like just getting that physical book. Couple more last questions for you, my friend. Is there an app that you use or run in your businesses?
Awakenly is the one that we're creating. So
okay.
Yes.
So that would be the app that we're all using. Let's go, wink, wink. And is there a skill you're trying to master right now? Something you're trying to get better at? Something you're trying to challenge yourself for?
There are many skills I am trying to master.
It never ends, huh? As an entrepreneur, as a serial entrepreneur, we always end up getting ourselves into new businesses ideas, but
it makes
fun.
It's fun. It's fun. I play tennis.
Nice.
So I want to bring in kind of sports and being involved in different sports. So tennis is something I'm trying to master right now. And also I'm really working on owning my own power.
Oh, like your own energy power.
My own energy power. Because so often, and I don't know, I think it's the systems, that we've grown up in, I give my energy away.
Yeah.
And I give it away very often. So it's how do I own it?
We got free energy here, boys.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think I was talking to one of our previous podcast interviews right now, and we were talking about basically it's sometimes easier to grow the business, but then harder to say no. And then all of a sudden you end up with meetings and phone calls and all this stuff because you're growing and you're getting all these opportunities. You're getting podcast interviews. But then, hey, I have no time to talk to these, and then I said, I think some of the smartest business guys or gals I've listened to are very good at saying no, and they're very good at delegating the jobs and roles that they hate to somebody else. And then keeping them happy. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm totally working on that.
That's a very big challenge. So when you're waking up for your day, you're getting pumped, energized. Why do you love being you? It's Catherine Bell.
Because I have been lucky and life seems to serve when I serve.
Right.
Things happen when we do things with a good heart and when we do things with respect and intention. And it's very rare that I wake up and I'm like, oh, today. Every day I kind of wake up, I'm like, yes, it's today. I'm going to see Travis today and I'm going to see my kids today, or I'm going to see so-and-so today. And we're going to make this happen and this happen. And I'm going to play this sport. I'm going to do this mindfulness practices. I'm going to do this. And so it's almost like life respects gratitude too. Right. So every day I'm thankful I wake up because we don't know when it's going to be our last day, Travis.
I think about that all the time. So, you don't know.
No one knows. So to live from that place, of just love and gratitude. And I'm so thankful and so thankful. Today I'm going to hop on a plane. How amazing is it to be on a plane?
Incredible.
Just think about that. Incredible.
100 years ago, they'd be like, you can go from here to there, and how fast? You don't have to take 6 years and get scurvy and get this and that. And
totally, Travis.
Hop in 6 hours, we'll be there, and we'll hop in our Uber, and then we'll go right to our place, and we'll have dinner ready for us. And it's incredible. It's you have to be so grateful. Although there's a lot of things you got to monitor, but these things are incredible. These devices that allow us to scale and run and do so many things, helps me run my eBay business. It helps me manage my team. It helps me do so many things when I'm on the go or wherever that I would never be able to do before. Do Facebook posts, delete something, do whatever. I can just hop on the app on there, boom, 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 get it done. Before I'd have to come all the way back to the home or make some huge change. So obviously we got to watch our notifications. We got to watch many things to keep us distracted on these things, but they're such a blessing too to help the entrepreneur on the go too. When you're on the plane, when you're on on the go, you can seamlessly run everything.
Well, technology makes connection possible and a different level. So I think we need to be appreciative of that connection. And I also believe I love that you brought up technology. We need to thank the invisible. So all those people who created that technology.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
For me, technology is a portal, and to use it deliberately, not in a kind of a reinforcing dopamine sense where you're all the time, but rather being very deliberate with how and when it's used. Same with ChatGPT. How and when do we use it?
Right. Yeah.
And being very deliberate.
It's ChatGPT, I think, is like brainstorming still right now. It's still like a great content creator, and it's just got so many advantages, but it's still just like anything. It's learning too from us. And so it's only going to get better, but you don't want to spend a whole day on there. What are you going to do all day on there? I mean, you can use it wisely, just like what people are missing from AI, because I use it in my eBay business, and I tell people about this all the time. I have saved 2,000 hours of my life by AI, scanning cards, getting them ready, putting the right data in there, getting them ready for my eBay so I can hit price, $1.99, collect all, and send 500 cards to eBay in 20 minutes of my time. Physically, my time, like 2 minutes of my time, pretty much. I just scan them. It does its work for an hour and a half. I can go play with the kids outside. I can come back to the technology, click a button. Then all of a sudden, then 2 people buy a card the next day. Then someone buys a card the next day. And for the next 20 years, maybe, or however long I run the business, these cards are being sold thanks to the fact of AI, because I would never be able to list a $2 card with my time on eBay. So this is the benefit of AI in my little light of business, and it does it in other things too. It helps me list cards. There's many things we have AI already helping us do kind of in our day that we don't really realize, whether you're on Google, whether you're on Gmail, whether you're using different tools that kind of have it already in the back end. And so the beauty is it just helps us save time. People forget that. Yes, it's going to eliminate jobs. Yes, many things eliminate jobs. Facebook decided to fire people. Amazon's decided to fire people. People get fired. That eliminates jobs too. But don't be scared of the tool, because it's going to save you time in your life. That's the main thing. Like you say, we're missing moments. I can't tell you how many moments I'd be missing if I was just be sitting here listing these $2 cards. So I can list my time on the $100, $200 cards, $300 cards, the bigger high-end cards, because that takes me a minute or two. But the sale potential is a lot better versus only a $2 card. And then the benefit is someone that only can afford a $2 card right now due to the economy gets to buy that $2 card. So it's a benefit. Like this person gets the card of their player they like. And then, so that's the benefit, just in a small way of the power of AI, folks. Don't be scared of AI in your life and business. And also, like you said, though, too, just know your own limits and boundaries and how much, you want to spend with it, too. But at the end of the day, what it should do is just save you time in your life, in your day. And that's our most precious asset. So enjoy a lot of time saved for the next 20 years, getting to do the things you like to do. A couple last questions before we roll. Who would you like to sit down tonight with for a lovely chicken and steak dinner?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah! You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
Or Dalai Lama. And I'm going to see him in November. I'm going to see him in November. So I'm very excited. I'm serious.
He actually signs autographs through an email. I found his email address many years ago and would send him emails, and he sent me a few different hand signed, beautiful. But I always was touched with that. I just can't imagine the Dalai Lama actually signed something. I know he's signing a million of them all at the same time, but you're gonna see him. You're gonna. I'm
gonna see him in November. It provided that everything goes as planned, right?
Will he let you give him a hug? Will he let you give him a hug, or how does that work? Was it like, did you bow to him, or how does that work with the?
I'll have to report back on that.
Okay. If he lets you give you a hug, your boy just gave him a hug. All right. I feel better now. And then last question for you is, where is the best place for people to learn more about the business? Because we want to send them there. We want to awaken them. We're going to awaken them on the app too. We're going to put that in there, theawakenapp.com, and the book.
So you can go to Awaken Company on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Follow us there. Also sign up for our newsletter, which is on our website. And we provide, I see our social media really as social service, because it's a lot of like really practical hints for people to run their business well.
That's awesome. That's a great way for a business to approach social media. Instead of just talking about yourself, you might as well put out all the secrets to the sauce, give people tips, give them value, instead of just talking about, hey, our about us is this, or our mission statement is this, or, it's kind of doesn't make any sense. So follow the social media and you can guys get some hidden tips and some hidden Easter eggs, I will say, because Easter's coming up here. Some Easter eggs for the day But you, my friend, are going to have a great day because you're going to hop on a plane and go see your kids.
I am, and go visit university. So it should be amazing.
Well, congratulations. I thank you again for your time today. Folks, you've been hanging out with Catherine Bell and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We again want to thank you so much for your time today, and let's keep being real.
What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. Do you want to get featured on podcasts, guys? You can be a guest. And that's right. You have a story, and the people, the good folks at I Love Podcasts. That's ILUV podcasts.com. Do that every single day. This is a new company, guys, in the space of podcast agency. And they realize a lot of the people in the space it's just a commodity, and they don't care. And these folks care. And I literally love Kenny and the team at I Love Podcasts, and they are doing it right for their customers. So you guys can be a guest on a show. ILovePodcast.com. That's ILUV podcasts.com. Let's go.